Hello, this is Rachel, and I am in my break right now. I resigned from my previous job about a month and a half ago, and now I am enjoying my break as much as I can. It's my kind of first voluntary break that I took since I started my working life. I didn't think it is something I could do or something I could afford to take a break from work. But now I am living it and I am enjoying it. But also at the same time, I'm realizing a few things that I didn't know back when I was working. So I wanted to share what I'm going through for my own record, and hopefully it's also beneficial to someone out there. So in my previous video, I was talking about how I discovered it was actually me who put a lot of pressure on myself to exhaust and to overwork. So I had this tendency to blame the structure of the company or the system of the company, that it is inefficient, that we have so many internal meetings instead of having time to actually work on important stuff. The external situation stays there, but it's one thing to have a lot of meetings, but it's another thing to have very unsustainable expectation on yourself to outperform, to produce, and basically burn yourself out. So that was the first video. And in this video, I wanted to talk about time. When I was working, I felt like I really had no time to myself. Even during the weekend, I felt like the time I had was too short. And I kept saying, oh, I wish I have a day to myself without having to do anything. I wish I could spend a day reading a book, writing blogs. And now I have that life. I'm living the dream life. But what I realized is I get used to it. It becomes normal to me. Maybe first week or the second week, I was so happy that I could have all this time to myself and I have all the freedom how I want to use this time. But now I have it, you become just like, oh, this is just a given thing. And there's a saying that whatever you're given, they stop being the view that you admire, they become the floor you stand on. I guess that's our human tendency, that we adapt and the grass is always greener on the other side. And the same thing is happening about time to me. And a lot of people and a lot of books, they all say that it's important to feel gratitude. I think it's important to practice gratitude, and it's important to appreciate things that you have. I know that, and I knew about this intellectually, but now I'm really feeling it, why that is so important. Because whatever external conditions you desire in your life, the moment you have it, they become normal to you. Maybe not the moment, but maybe in few weeks or a few months time, but how you appreciate what you have is a skill. No matter how much money you have or how much free time you have, if you don't have the skill to appreciate what you have and to feel gratitude, you would always feel like there's something missing in your life. So now I feel why practicing gratitude is so important, because it's also something that can be built like a muscle. Like if you train yourself to notice things that you appreciate and recognize how lucky you are, how fortunate you are, how blessed you are, you keep noticing those things in your life as you go your day. But if you don't have this ability to appreciate and to feel gratitude in your life, you become like a complaining, whiny person in a very shiny house with tons of free time. And probably people would say that, oh, it's better to be a whiny, complacent person in a nice, shiny place than a rundown, small flat. There's a truth to it. If you have money and if you have time, that can solve a lot of money and time related problem. But the point I want to make is you can train your ability to feel gratitude, and you can train your ability to appreciate what you have, even when you don't have the external things that you desire. That's the point. So now I'm in a position that, oh, I really wanted to have one day free to myself. And now I have it, and I'm really feeling that, oh wow, actually, it wasn't really the time that contributes to the life that I want. It's actually my mindset. It's actually my attitude, regardless of the external conditions I have. So yeah, and just like a lot of things in life, I think there's a need for direct human exposure for you to truly understand what that means. And I am really going through that phase right now about time specifically. So I wanted to share this. And my husband always tells me that you have such a good life right now. And I acknowledge that I do have a great life right now, but that doesn't mean that I am living a good life. What I mean is, just because you have all the time and all the money, that doesn't mean that you are happy or you are living a good life. Living a good life, the key deciding factor whether you live a good life is whether you are happy with your life or you think you are living a meaningful life right now. And the money, the time, those things do not decide whether you're happy or whether you are living a meaningful or fulfilling life. What determines that is how you view your life. What I'm getting at is I didn't really have to be too much obsessed with time as much as I did before. And hopefully going forward, even when things become busy again for me, I still have this mindset that it's not the time that is constraining my freedom. It's my attitude. It's how I view them. Everyone has such a different way of viewing the world. We all have different lens. We all have different perspective. So what's been very helpful for me is journaling again. When I have some challenges or struggles, I write about them, and then I try to distinguish what actually happened and how I feel. Because how I feel or how I view what happened to me are very subjective. And oftentimes I overcomplicate the situation with all of my own emotions and previous experiences. And these things on the right side, they kind of obscure what actually happened. And if I put this right side aside, then things become simpler, and it's easier for me to come up with what I can do to improve the situation. Obviously, I cannot change how other people behave or how other people think. So I try to focus on what I can change in the situation. It's a still work in progress. I'm not really good at it. And I think if you are a robot, or if you are less emotional, if you're less empathetic, you would be better at it. But I am not guilty of my sense of empathy, and I am proud of it. And because I have this high sense of empathy, sympathy for people and for the situation, I became who I am. And I can train myself to put aside my emotions in order for me to evaluate the situation. That doesn't mean that I don't want to feel emotion. I will live with my emotions, but how I perceive or how I process, I can kind of contain them. That's something I'm working on lately. And that's something related to my point that even if I have all the time to myself, that doesn't automatically solve all of my life's challenge. You'd still have your struggles and challenges in life, even if you have tons of money and tons of free time. So the bottom line is, whatever you're looking for in life, whatever you desire in life, if they are external conditions, the moment you have them, your happiness or your sense of achievement will go away. They will be temporary. But what you're looking for is some sort of sensation, happiness, fulfillment, or meaningful life. You don't have to wait until you have all the money or until you have all the time to yourself. You can already start training how you view the world, and you can have them right now.